materiality is becoming a really important point. Now, what does the process then look like? And again, here, there's a lot of different ways that you can instrument the process, but at a very kind of high level way, how you can look at the materiality assessment process is a number of steps there. The first one is really to look at what is the scope and what are my objectives here. So it's about determining how are you going about this. And what that means is really trying to understand that why am I doing a materiality assessment? Is it because there is regulation I'm trying to comply with? Is it because particular stakeholders have asked that? Is it because I want to understand what I should be reporting on from a sustainability and ESG reporting point of view? Could be a number of reasons there, but it's really important to talk about that internally as well, so that you're all on the same page there, what the reason is for doing a materiality assessment. The next step often then is one of two. In this case, we see topics first, and that is starting to understand in your particular industry, what are some potentially material topics? Now, there can be an infinite number of sustainability topics. If you look at different standards and frameworks and regulators, they all have slightly different labels. So what is really, important to you potentially? You can get some sense there of what is relevant in the industry by looking at some standard setters that use particular industries and give you a bit of guidance there. You can look at ESG scoring and rating agencies for your industry. You can look at what competitors and peers are reporting on. So what topics have they identified as material? And what you want to do is come up with a potential list of material topics. You want to leave out topics that you almost like certainly know that are not relevant to your organization there. So you're creating a long list of topics that you're going to go out with to the next step to your stakeholders to get their views. So you want to understand across that value chain, who are your stakeholders? Identify them, group them in a way, and select them so that you can go out and actually survey and interview them. And that is the core there where that stakeholder engagement component comes into play. You want to engage with those stakeholders and really get their quantitative and qualitative data and their insights. So you might want to ask them about that long list of topics there. What do you believe is material and why? So what impact do you see around the physical impacts of climate change that we have an impact on? Or how is that posing a risk or potentially an opportunity to our business? And what is it then? And how would you score and rate that? So you get some really good quantitative and qualitative insights from a variety of stakeholders, internal, external. You can then really starting to think across the groups, like do some comparisons and move into that analysis and validation stage where you're looking at what your stakeholders have said, but that is their views. It's now time to really analyze that and think about, does that align with our internal views, starting to validate some of the outcomes. Again, look at your competitors, your peers, your industry. Are there any particular topics that are surprisingly high or low on the list? And ultimately, out of that analysis, make that selection of what is going to be material for this year, this reporting period. So this is a really high-level overview. Sometimes you see certain steps. Some people start with stakeholders and then look at topics. But it's really important to kind of make sure that these components are part and parcel of that process.